The Amala Mystery. Once upon a time in the charming village of Ijora, where the days danced lazily under the sun, Auntie Leo set up her beloved Amala stall in the village square. The air was infused with the rich, earthy aroma of yam flour as it simmered thoughtfully on a hot fire, a scent that beckoned the villagers as if whispering promises of comfort and warmth. Auntie Leo, a woman admired for both her cooking and her spirit, donned her colorful scarf tightly about her head, her deep laugh lines stretching as she greeted those who gathered around. "Mornings are sweet with Amala and stories, don't you think?" she called out, her voice melodious, drawing smiles from passers-by. It wasn't just the food she offered, it was a safe haven, where hearts could mingle amid shared laughter. Yet, amidst the joviality, an unusual phenomenon caught the attention of those who frequented her stall. Each day, precisely as she unveiled her pot of steaming Amala, a chorus of dogs would assemble, barking and howling in an ecstatic uproar. As the village children gathered to watch, they giggled at the antics of the scruffy golden dog they called Bola, the leader of the pack, as he danced around Auntie Leo, tail wagging with delight. Among the curious spectators was Adaeze, a bright-eyed girl full of energy and wonder. She stood at the edge of the crowd, her attention transfixed on the joyful chaos that erupted around Auntie Leo. With her wild curls bouncing and her faded blue dress fluttering as she shifted from foot to foot, she felt an insatiable curiosity bubbling within her. "Why do they bark like that?" she whispered to herself, peering at the dogs who seemed to have a secret understood only by them. Their energy was electric, and the camaraderie they shared with Auntie Leo felt special, as if they were united in a bond that transcended mere friendship. "Why don't you ask Auntie Leo?" a small voice piped up beside her. It was Chijioke, her neighbor and fellow classmate, who nudged her gently. He had joined her beneath the shade of an old baobab tree, questioning the antics of the dogs just as fervently. "Maybe I should," Adaeze replied, determination sparking in her chest. What could possibly connect the loyal dogs to the adored Amala seller? She had to find out. As the villagers settled in for their morning meal, Adaeze approached Auntie Leo, who was happily serving her customers. "Auntie Leo," she said, tilting her head slightly, "why do the dogs bark so much when you start selling your Amala? Do they want food too?" Auntie Leo chuckled, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "Ah, my dear girl, they are not merely hungry. There's more to their barking than you might think. Each bark carries a story, whispered from the heart." She leaned closer, her voice low. "If you listen closely, perhaps you will understand." Adaeze felt her heart leap at the prospect. "I will listen, Auntie. I promise." With a smile, Auntie Leo returned to her work, stirring the steaming pot as delight filled the air with every swirl. Adaeze took a seat near the dogs, her mind alive with questions. If the dogs were speaking in a language of barks, she was determined to learn how to decode it. The sun climbed higher in the sky, filling the square with its warmth, and Adaeze observed Bola as he wagged his tail and barked with enthusiasm. She leaned forward, straining to hear the messages hidden in the noise. Each bark seemed more than a mere call for attention. They were laced with joy, familiarity, and affection. An orchestra of love wrapped up within the simple act of gathering around Auntie Leo. Suddenly, one of the barks stood out, strong and alert. Bola had caught sight of a young boy approaching with a plate. The boy paused, looking around as if weighing the dog's presence and deciding whether they might share in the meal. In that moment, Adaeze realized she wasn't merely observing. She felt a spark of tenderness towards the dogs and their loyalty, which painted a picture of unspoken connection. What was it that drew the dogs in so persuasively? The warmth of the community? The care Auntie Leo poured into her food? Or perhaps a deeper bond, rooted in a past she had yet to learn? As she sat there, the whispers of the dogs and the laughter of the villagers enveloped her in a cocoon of comfort. A journey lay ahead, one filled with inquiries and mysteries to unravel, and she vowed to uncover the truth behind the barking and the Amalas. Today was only the beginning, and she was ready to embark on this adventure of heart and discovery. Whispers of the past. In the vibrant heart of Ijora, as the sun began its slow descent, casting a warm glow over the village, Adaeze felt an insatiable urge to learn more about the mystical connection between Auntie Leo and the dogs. She knew there had to be a story woven into the very fabric of her life, and she was determined to uncover it. The next morning, with the anticipation coursing through her, Adaeze hurried to Auntie Leo's stall, her feet barely touching the ground in her excitement. As she approached, she could see Auntie Leo already bustling about, preparing her ingredients for another day filled with laughter, conversation, and the aromatic allure of Amala. "Auntie Leo!" Irolyua exclaimed, breathless as she arrived. "I want to hear more of your stories. You said the dogs have a connection with you. Can you tell me how it all began?" Auntie Leo paused, lifting her gaze from the pot of simmering yam flour. Her face softened, a hint of nostalgia flickering across her brow. "Ah, Irolyua, the bond between me and those dogs is like a river that has flowed through the years. It's not just about Amala, it's about love, loss, and loyalty." Curiosity sparkled in Irolyua's bright eyes as she took a seat on a worn-out wooden bench next to Auntie Leo. "Tell me everything, please." With a contented sigh, Auntie Leo settled onto the bench, the familiar sense of her stole swirling around them like a comforting embrace. "Many years ago," she began, her voice gentle yet full of strength, "I experienced a profound loss. My husband, the love of my life, passed away unexpectedly. I was heartbroken and lost, unsure how to find joy again." Irolyua listened closely, her heart aching for the warm smile that often greeted her. "I spent many days alone, my laughter silenced by the weight of my sorrow. One afternoon, I wandered outside, feeling the shadows of grief press heavily upon me. As I sat beneath the great baobab tree, I noticed a scruffy dog watching from a distance. His golden fur was matted, and he wore an expression that seemed to whisper understanding." Auntie Leo's eyes glimmered as she continued. "He was a stray, hungry, and tired, much like I was. He stepped closer, and I shared some of my leftover food with him. It was that simple act of kindness that sparked something in my heart. That dog, Bola, as I later named him, reminded me of the love I had to give, even during my darkest days." Irolyua's heart swelled as she imagined Auntie Leo, lost in sorrow, yet finding solace in the presence of a stray dog. "Did he come to visit you often?" she asked, her voice soft. "Oh yes." Auntie Leo smiled brightly, the warmth returning to her features. "He never left my side once I welcomed him. In the mornings, he would sit outside my door, waiting patiently for me to make my amla. As I cooked, Bola would lay nearby, his presence soothing my aching heart. Soon he brought other stray dogs, a band of misfits who had faced their own hardships. The thought of an entire pack of devoted dogs gladdened Irolyua's heart. "And they all loved your amla?" "Indeed they did," Auntie Leo chuckled. "But it was more profound than mere hunger. These dogs became my family, and it seemed that they sensed my pain, always offering companionship without uttering a single word. Their loyalty filled the void left by my husband, reminding me that love can come from the most unexpected places." Irolyua looked toward the dogs gathered nearby, their eyes bright with excitement, their barks echoing in the air like a joyful chorus. She admired how their simple loyalty showcased a powerful bond of coexistence. "And you cooked for them too?" "Every day. I would set aside small portions of my food, and they became the most enthusiastic tasters. Their barking grew louder as I prepared the meals each day, a joyful announcement that my kitchen was open for business." "And that's how they started barking at your stall?" "Exactly. They didn't just bark for food, but for the happiness that filled each bowl. I often say that my amla is seasoned not just with spices, but with love, a love they resonate with." Auntie Leo's eyes sparkled with warmth. Irolyua was entranced, the story weaving an intricate tapestry of life, sorrow, and redemption. "So you connected through food, and that brought you closer together?" "Yes, child," Auntie Leo nodded thoughtfully, understanding Irolyua's eagerness to learn more about life's intricacies. "Food nourishes not only the body but the spirit. It brings people and dogs together." Enthralled, Irolyua felt a new sense of purpose washing over her. She wanted to be part of this beautiful legacy Auntie Leo was building, to honor the loving bond acted out in simple barks and delightful meals. "Auntie, can I help you prepare the amla today? I want to learn to cook from you." Auntie Leo smiled, her heart swelling with pride and affection for the spirited girl beside her. "Of course, Irolyua. The secret to making the best amla lies not only in the ingredients but in the love you put into it." As they began to work side by side, rolling the yam flour in their hands, Irolyua was filled with hope and excitement. She realized that by delving deeper into the stories of the villagers and their furry companions, she too could unlock the beautiful whispers of the past and embrace the wisdom they offered for the future. This was only the beginning of a journey that reached far beyond the simple act of cooking. It spoke to the ties that bound them all together, a network of hearts woven through love and understanding, with every bark carrying a lesson waiting to be discovered. The Canine Chronicles. With every passing day, Iaroluwa found herself more captivated by the stories surrounding Auntie Leo's stall and the barking dogs. As she prepared food alongside the amiable woman, her heart swelled with the energy of transformation and connection. Yet the most tantalizing mystery remained unsolved. Why did these dogs, especially Bola, have such a deep bond with the Amala seller? Determined to uncover the truth, Iaroluwa decided that today would be different. She would not only observe but also engage with Bola and the other dogs, seeking to decipher their secrets. Their joyful barks, dances, and sweet companionship held a promise of adventures yet to be revealed. On this particular sunny afternoon, Iaroluwa finished her chores early, skipping toward Auntie Leo's stall with a large bowl of leftovers. The dogs barked with excitement, their tails wagging furiously as she approached. "All right, everyone. Who's hungry?" she called out, the energy buzzing around her as they gathered eagerly. Bola stood in the front, his golden mane shimmering in the sunlight. Iaroluwa couldn't help but smile as he jumped for joy, barking and playfully tugging at her skirt. With a grin, she tossed a piece of food toward him, watching as he caught it mid-air, pride dancing in his eyes. "Bola, you're quite the acrobat," she laughed, kneeling beside him while the other dogs lounged nearby. "What is it about Auntie Leo's food that makes you all so happy?" As if understanding her perfectly, Bola let out a series of melodic barks, while the other dogs chimed in, their barks merging into a joyful chorus. Iaroluwa leaned closer, her ears attuned to the lively symphony. Perhaps if she listened closely, she could finally understand the language of their barks. Sitting cross-legged on the ground, she watched the dogs play, their antics an endearing display of resilience and delight. This inspired her courage to try conversing with Bola. "Can you tell me what makes your bond with Auntie Leo so special?" Bola sat attentively, tilting his head. "Woof," came the response, an enthusiastic bark, echoing with a hint of laughter. The other dogs wagged their tails in agreement as if to say, "We too share this joy." For the first time, Iaroluwa felt an understanding unfurl in her heart, an instinctual connection that hinted at the time-honored legacy of the bond between dogs and humans. Gaining confidence from this sense of connection, she decided to take it a step further. I'd like to come with you today, Bola. Let's go on an adventure." With a regenerative spirit born from youthful enthusiasm, Iaroluwa rose to her feet, motioning for Bola to lead the way. The golden dog, ever eager, bounded ahead, and within moments, they were off, weaving their way through the narrow alleyways of Ijora. The air buzzed with the sounds of children playing and the laughter of villagers as they welcomed Iaroluwa and her canine companion. They ventured into the meadows behind Auntie Leo's stall, blooming wildflowers painting a beautiful tapestry underfoot. Iaroluwa felt the thrill of discovery pulse through her. "Show me your world, Bola," she shouted joyfully, following the confident pup as he raced ahead. Unexpectedly, Bola skidded to a halt near a small group of their fellow canine friends, an assortment of scruffy strays bound together by shared experience. They pranced in circles, and as Iaroluwa drew closer, they seemed to beckon her to join their dance. Iaroluwa laughed, feeling the spirit of freedom that seemed to surging through her entire being. It was a carefree celebration of friendships forged on the streets, fueled by adventure and camaraderie. As she danced with the dogs, she caught snippets of their playful barks. "Woof! Adventure!" one exclaimed, while another growled out a response that echoed, "Loyalty." Adventures of the heart. Iaroluwa felt joy well up within her, resonating in harmony with their barks. Each bark was a window into their tales, their lives told in joyful bursts of canine expression. It was clear that through experiences in the village and shared moments of love, they held the key to a deeper story. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out, breaking through the gaiety. "What mischief are you up to, Iaroluwa?" Auntie Leo approached, her eyes twinkling with mirth. "We're just reveling in the tales of these wonderful dogs," Iaroluwa exclaimed, breathless. "Can you tell me more about the adventures they've had?" Auntie Leo chuckled good-naturedly. Of course, my dear. Each of these dogs carries tales from the past, from moments of hardship to heartening companionship. Most of them are strays like Bola, who wandered into my life during a time of sadness and loss. In return for a kind heart, they've offered me joy and love. Irolyua leaned in closer, captivated. What kind of adventures? The adventures of finding shelter during rainy seasons, of playing alongside children during sunlit days, of overcoming loneliness together, Auntie Leo shared, her voice warm and inviting. Every dog here represents resilience, survival, loyalty. They have stories etched in their essence. As Auntie Leo spoke, the dogs, too, seemed to nod in agreement, their barks rising up as if urging their companion to keep talking. Bola here, for example, guided me to the children wandering the streets, encouraging them to befriend those who were lost, Auntie Leo continued. In turn, they all offer hope to each other, even in the darkest of times. The vibrant spirit of the dogs filled Irolyua with wonder as she absorbed Auntie Leo's stories, sensing the profound connection that tied the village together. Can we create new stories today? Irolyua implored, her heart racing with excitement. Let's find some adventure for ourselves. Auntie Leo beamed. You have the heart of a storyteller, Irolyua. Perhaps it is time you and these lovely dogs crafted your own chronicles. Create laughter today, to carry with you forever. With that, they all set forth into the meadows, hands and paws full of promises. A day to remember, rich with excitement and a tapestry of warmth. Irolyua bounced ahead, ready to weave her new adventure, along with Bola and the barking dogs, and her journey toward understanding their shared legacy had truly begun. Stories in the Square. The next vibrant market day painted Ijora in lively hues of excitement, laughter, and the scent of fresh produce wafting through the bustling village square. Irolyua felt a palpable energy in the air as she trotted alongside Auntie Leo, her heart bubbling with anticipation. The village, alive with chatter, seemed to beckon stories from every corner. At the heart of the bustling square, the renowned baobab tree stood large and proud, its sturdy branches offering shade to village elders who exchanged tales of years gone by. Colorful stalls lined the cobbled paths, showcasing fruits, vegetables, and handcrafted goods, all drawing villagers and travelers alike into a whirlwind of vibrant exchanges. The market is as much about stories as it is about trading goods, Auntie Leo said as they navigated through the crowds bustling past them, carrying bags filled with produce. Today, we'll share our own stories of joy and love alongside the delicious food of my stall. Curious faces turned toward Auntie Leo, who was known not only for her remarkable cooking but also for the enchanting tales that accompanied each meal. Villagers had grown to expect delightful anecdotes to accompany their bowls of Amala, and today, Irolyua decided she wanted to share in that spirit. As they reached the stall, Irolyua noticed a group of children huddled nearby, eagerly waiting to see what Auntie Leo would cook. Their innocent eyes sparkled with delight, their faces smudged with remnants of the morning's mischief. Bola, the golden dog, crouched at Irolyua's feet, wagging his tail and relishing the vibes of the marketplace. Auntie, one of the children called out, a boy with a head full of messy curls. Tell us the story of how you came to own those dogs. We want to hear more. Irolyua felt her pulse quicken. Yes, Auntie. Tell us, she chimed in, excited to share in the joy that gathered around them. With a warm smile, Auntie Leo draped her hands over her heart and began weaving a tale. Many years ago, when I first began selling my Amala, I was a lonely woman. My husband had just passed, and although I tried to put on a brave face, the shadows of sorrow often lingered around me. The children leaned closer, spellbound. On one particularly lonely evening, I was closing up my stall when I heard a soft whimper. It was Bola, a hungry, stray dog watching me longingly. Instead of shutting him out, I offered him a piece of my leftover food. That act of kindness changed everything. As Auntie Leo recounted the tale, one child gasped, and another chuckled, caught in the ebb and flow of emotion. Auntie Leo's voice danced with the cadence of laughter and sorrow as she detailed her first encounter with the golden dog. The story flowed out like water from a fountain, refreshing and life-giving. He became my loyal companion over the years, and his presence ignited a fire within me. I had lost one love, but in Bola, I found another, a bond forged in shared acceptance. He brought comfort on my dark days, Auntie Leo said, stroking Bola's golden fur gently, drawing a chorus of appreciative sighs from her audience. The children nodded and giggled at the idea of love shaped through simple gestures and kindness. Irolyua couldn't help but feel pride swell within her. This was more than just a story, it was a testament to resilience and hope, an illustration of how joy can spring from even the darkest times. "But wait!" yelled the little boy with messy hair, bouncing on his toes. "What happened to the other dogs? How did they come to join you?" "Ah!" Auntie Leo's eyes sparkled. As time passed, other strays began to sense the love made manifest in my home. They heard tales of a woman with a good heart who made delicious food. One by one, they came to join me, furry friends who filled my house with joy. The children erupted with laughter. "What fun!" they exclaimed, their imaginations painting pictures of playful mishaps and adventures with the pack of dogs under Auntie Leo's care. Just then, another voice chimed in, breaking through the revelry. "Auntie Leo, what about the big storm? You never told us what happened." It was Mama Chica, a village matriarch who stood nearby, her hands resting on her hips, eyes twinkling with mischief. Auntie Leo caught the glimmer in Mama Chica's gaze and grinned knowingly. "Oh, you want to hear about the storm? Very well," she replied. "It was a time when the skies darkened, and the winds howled like wild beasts. I thought they would sweep me away, an old woman with only her pot of Amala to keep me company." The children gasped, leaning in further as Auntie Leo described the chaotic night when the storm raged fiercely against her home. Between flashes of lightning and the cacophony of thunder, she had rallied her beloved dogs around her, finding comfort even in the unlikely circumstances. Bola and his pack created a wall of warmth around me. I held their paws, felt their breathing matching my own, and it was as if all of us were united as one. The storm became a testament to our strength together. A family forged through trials, Auntie Leo concluded. The lively atmosphere around the stall transformed into a warm embrace, where gratitude hung heavy in the air. The children exchanged glances, excitement shimmering in their eyes, contemplating how they too could create stories filled with love and resilience. Eager to join their spirited conversation, Irolyua took a step forward, saying, "Each piece of Amla contains our stories. You know, if we share more of our hearts, we can bring joy not just to ourselves, but to those around us. Let's craft tales together." The children cheered, invigorated by the idea of spinning new adventures with each bite of food. "We can write our own stories," they shouted, buzzing with energy and inspiration. There, surrounded by laughter and spirited voices, Irolyua felt the bonds of community knitting even tighter around them all. A tapestry of friendships and shared dreams woven through stories and simple acts of kindness. "Then let us feast and share," Auntie Leo declared, her voice ringing like a bell, and with a wide smile, she began serving steaming bowls of Amla to everyone present. The square came alive, filled with spirals of laughter, voices mingling, and the joyous connection among villagers. The heart of Ijora beating strongly with each shared tale and every morsel of food. As Irolyua savored the flavors of the world around her, she understood something profound in that moment. Each story shared added color and depth to their lives, creating an unbreakable bond that transcended generations. Echoing the legacy of love that Auntie Leo had fostered through her kitchen, her heart, and the furry companions that adored her. A heartfelt revelation. The air was filled with the mingling aromas of spices and laughter as the sun dipped low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the village of Ijora. Irolyua felt her heart dance with excitement as she wandered through the market square, where villagers shared stories under the great baobab tree, children played, and the sound of Auntie Leo's laughter blended seamlessly with the vibrant chatter. It had been days since Auntie Leo had shared her remarkable journey. Inspired by the connection between the beloved Amla, her dogs, and the community, Irolyua was buoyed by the sense of belonging that had grown amongst them. Yet deep within her, she sensed an itch, a need to delve further into the heart of this unique bond that wove through the threads of her life and that of her furry companions. As the day drew to an end and families began to gather for evening meals, Irolyua decided it was time to talk to Auntie Leo again. Eager to paint her revelation in vivid strokes, she approached the stall where Auntie Leo was busy arranging bowls of steaming Amla. "Auntie Leo, can we talk about the dogs?" Irolyua inquired, her eyes gleaming with determination. "I think I understand the joy you share, but I want to know their story too." Auntie Leo paused momentarily, her hands stilling. A knowing smile spread across her face, and she motioned for Iaroluwa to join her on the bench nearby. Of course, my dear. They each have stories worthy of sharing, just as any cherished family member would. In a quiet corner of the bustling stall, Iaroluwa and Auntie Leo sat closely, aware of the soft energy bridging between them. With curiosity sparkling in her voice, Iaroluwa asked, "Can you tell me about each of them? What is their story that brings so much joy and loyalty to our lives?" "Ah, each dog is a chapter of my journey," Auntie Leo began, her gaze drifting lovingly toward Bola, who lay sprawled nearby, lazily wagging his tail. "Bola, my first companion, embodies resilience. He taught me that even in loss, kindness can open doors to new joys. He was a stray, just like many others, yet he sought out home, and his loyalty bound us in ways unspoken." Iaroluwa listened, enraptured by the depth of the tale woven around the golden dog, the one who started it all. "What about others?" Auntie Leo nodded, her eyes glimmering with warmth. "There's Kiki," she said, motioning to a timid, scruffy dog with large, soulful eyes that hung back at the edge of the crowd. She was one of the quiet ones, abandoned and afraid. When she first joined us, she wouldn't let anyone near her. With time, patience, and good food, she learned that love can change fear. Now, she's our gentle protector. The admiration in Iaroluwa's eyes deepened as she absorbed Kiki's story. It's incredible how they learn to trust again. "What does she do now?" "She guards us fiercely," Auntie Leo chuckled softly. "Whenever we're gathered around my stall, she watches over the children like a doting mother, making sure they're not hurt." With newfound understanding, Iaroluwa felt even more connected to these dogs. "And the others?" she asked, her heart swelling with curiosity. "There's Rex," Auntie Leo continued, gesturing toward a boisterous, shaggy dog with playful energy that bounced whenever he was around others. He was a lost soul who thrived on attention. His laughter is contagious. He reminds us that joy often lives in the simple moments. Whenever he sees a child, he runs to play, making sure they feel the magic of companionship. Iaroluwa grinned, envisioning the lively antics of Rex, filled with energy and ready to spread happiness wherever he went. "And how do the villagers see them?" Auntie Leo chuckled. "The villagers adore each of them. They come to the stall not just for the Amala but also to interact with the dogs, to share their stories. The dogs have become a bridge for our community, connecting hearts through laughter and love. They remind us that kindness knows no boundaries." Feeling a sense of lightness and revelation pulse through her, Iaroluwa's heart brimmed with warmth. It's as if each dog is a reflection of us, a mirror, reminding us of the bonds we can forge with one another. "Yes, indeed," Auntie Leo said thoughtfully, her voice layered with tenderness. "And just like hidden treasures, these dogs teach us, through simple kindness, to rediscover love and connection even amidst the chaos of life." As she spoke, Iaroluwa felt a wave of clarity wash over her. A metaphor blossomed in her mind, a beautiful revelation. "Auntie, our stories are linked in ways we may not fully see until we come together. Each dog's journey mirrors what we've faced, and together they demonstrate the power of compassion." Auntie Leo's eyes sparkled, reflecting Iaroluwa's excitement. "Absolutely. The heart beats the same way within all of us, through shared experiences and love. We may face challenges alone at times, but sharing stories can lift anyone's spirit. Today, you have discovered something beautiful by connecting with these wonderful souls." The energy around them crackled like electricity, igniting new dreams within Iaroluwa. "Can we share their stories with others, Auntie? What if those stories brought hope and warmth to even more people? What if they could see the love in every bark?" Auntie Leo's expression went soft, and she placed a hand gently on Iaroluwa's shoulder. "That, my dear, is the essence of community. You already possess the heart of a storyteller. If we share our love through our dogs and food, we may inspire others to open their hearts and seek connection too." With renewed purpose lighting up her spirit, Iaroluwa stood up slowly, infusing her surroundings with a resounding message. "Let's invite families to join us here. Sharing the delicious food, the warmth of our dogs, and their stories could turn our community into something even more electrifying." As they solidified their dreams, the glimmering sunset began to dip beneath the horizon. It cast warm shades of orange and pink across the village square, creating a magical ambience around Ijora, where stories and connections were intertwined like threads in a beautiful tapestry. That night, under the vast expanse of twinkling stars, Iaroluwa knew she had discovered something truly profound. Love was a shared experience, a radiant reminder that within every bark lay a wordless story waiting to be unveiled. Hand in hand with Auntie Leo, she was ready to transform the world around her, weaving together the heartwarming revelations of their beloved companions. The gathering of voices. The village square thrummed with excitement, the scent of spices mingling with the fading warmth of the day. Banners of colorful fabric fluttered gently in the evening breeze, their colors vibrant against the backdrop of Ijora's cobblestone streets. Iaroluwa stood with Auntie Leo at their stall, her heart racing at the impending event. A gathering of the community to celebrate the stories of their beloved dogs and the delicious food Auntie Leo had prepared. Word had spread throughout Ijora about the evening's festivities, echoing the villagers' excitement. Children dashed about, giggling and barking playfully, imitating their four-legged friends, while families arrived laden with their own culinary delights to share. Everyone was eager to be part of something magical, a celebration that transcended the simple act of eating and transformed it into a communal tapestry woven from love. "Are you ready, my dear?" Auntie Leo asked, her eyes twinkling like stars as she placed a hand on Iaroluwa's shoulder. "I am, Auntie. I can't believe everyone came to hear our stories." Iaroluwa replied, barely able to contain her eagerness. With the setting sun casting a golden hue over the square, Auntie Leo gathered the villagers around the stall, inviting them to sit on the makeshift benches. The vibrant energy pulsed through the air, creating a symphony of laughter, chatter, and anticipation. Bola, with his golden coat gleaming, sat at Auntie Leo's feet, his eyes scanning the gathering as if he understood the weight of this occasion. Kiki nestled beside him, while Rex bounded around the children, bringing forth excited barks and playful interactions that reminded everyone of the joy they shared. Once the villagers settled, Auntie Leo stood tall and addressed the crowd, her voice rich and inviting. "Thank you all for joining us tonight. This gathering is not just to enjoy the delicious food cooked with love, but also to honor the stories and lessons our furry companions have shared with us." As the villagers clapped in approval, Iaroluwa felt a rush of warmth enveloping her heart. She stepped forward, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. "I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. We've watched these dogs transform our lives and connect us in ways we haven't realized until now. Let's celebrate our love, each bark ringing like a note in a grand melody." The atmosphere was electric as laughter erupted and cheers filled the square. Encouraged by the villagers' enthusiasm, Iaroluwa felt a wave of confidence sweep over her. "I would love to share some of the stories Auntie Leo told me about each of our beloved dogs." As she started, one after another, tender memories unfolded and resonated with the audience. With each dog she described, their journeys of struggle, loyalty, and transformation. Their importance in Ijora's tapestry became more vivid, intertwining their fates with the community's heart. Bola taught Auntie Leo to find joy in moments of sadness, she recounted, watching the golden dog wag his tail. And Kiki, once alone and afraid, found trust and love among us. Rex has become a symbol of laughter, a reminder that joy lives in even the smallest moments. Stories bounced back and forth, weaving deeper connections amidst the crowd. Alongside laughter, there were murmurs of understanding, the shared struggles and bonds that infused the square with spirit and hope. The villagers found themselves lost in the collective experience, fostering camaraderie through tales of love and belonging. From the corner of the square, Mama Chica stood with her hands clasped, watching the exchanges unfold. When the crowd grew quiet, she stepped up, her voice soft yet resonant. "Let me share my tale, too. One rainy season, my children and I huddled beneath our roof, worrying for our future. It was then that Rex appeared and shook the wetness off his fur, bringing laughter to my children's faces, even in our darkest moments." Cheers erupted, bridging generations through shared experiences. The warmth of nostalgia filled the air, igniting spirits and fostering connections between young and old alike. The evening transformed into an emotional tapestry woven from laughter, joy, and heartfelt reminiscence. Next, young boys and girls began to tickle the atmosphere with their own anecdotes, expressing the growth of their love for the dogs. They spoke fondly of capturing moments of play, of finding friendship in companionship, each voice embodying the spirit of their four-legged friends. "Rex is my faithful guardian," a little girl exclaimed, her hands on her hips defiantly. He helps me chase the birds away. I often share my snacks with Bola, a boy added, grinning. He never barks at me. He's my best friend. As the voices of the children mingled with those of the adults, a sense of unity enveloped the gathering. Each story brought laughter, but it also sparked deeper reflections on love, kindness, and resilience. In sharing these personal tales, the villagers began to appreciate one another even more, realizing the profound connection they all shared through their furry companions. As the evening unfolded, Auntie Leo smiled warmly, watching with pride as Iroluwa stood amidst the flourishing conversation, weaving stories that echoed generations. Sharing emotionally charged moments lights a spark of familiarity and a recognition of life's multidimensional experiences. This gathering of voices, each unique yet interconnected, taught them all the value of embracing life's complexities and honoring the lessons hidden within. Through the collective experiences, arrangements of companionship bloomed into beautiful memories. As the stars twinkled overhead, casting silvery reflections upon the scene below, Iroluwa looked around, her heart swelling with gratitude. They were all intertwined, each story became a strand, and in that instant, she recognized their lives became inseparable treasures. Contrasting laughter with heartfelt moments, the bonds forged in this community united them in ways that would resonate long after the evening had passed. From that day forward, Ijora would not only be defined by its delightful meals but also by the stories shared, the connections forged, and the love that bridged their lives, echoing the heartwarming chorus of barks that encompassed their existence. Let us cherish our journey together. Did you enjoy this video? If so, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to join us for more amazing stories every day. Here at Daily Anything History, there's always something new to discover. See you in the next video.